This guy's crazy.
Hey guys, welcome to Asher Sports Network once again. Baseball season did not start like we had hoped.
Because of the coronavirus.
Yes, and we saw on Twitter Blake Snell had listed his all-time pitching rotation, and it gave us an idea. And we put together our all-time pitching rotation, but we did it a little bit different. And we actually did our whole teams, but we're going to have 3 videos. This is part 1. So we looked at like the 25 best pitchers of all time, what people had regarded, and we laid them down, and we actually did a draft. So we couldn't have the same players. So Asher picked, and I picked, and we went back and forth, and we picked our...
for example, there's, like, I'm just saying there's no way there's going to be, like, what, like, Marco Estrada and Matt Shoemaker. If I took Matt Shoemaker, he couldn't take him.
Yeah, and none of us took those players, don't worry.
No, because...
No offense to either one of them. They're fine gentlemen. But anyway...
I love how you said gentlemen.
Anyway, so we drafted, and we have our own starting rotations. We took 5 starters, and we took 2 closers, one who can be a setup man and one who can be a closer. And anyway, do you want me to start with my first, or you start?
Yeah,
You start? Okay, I'll start.
You start.
All right, so number 1, I've got Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax played for the Dodgers, 165 wins. He had a 5-year span where he was the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball, where he amassed 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP, 3 World Series titles, 2 World Series MVPs. My number 2 starter then, Roger Clemens, 354 wins, 7 Cy Youngs, people, 11-time All-Star. My number 3 starter, Greg Maddux, has won 18 Gold Gloves. A pitcher with 18 Gold Gloves, crazy. 4 Cy Youngs, 4 ERA titles. What?
1 World Series title.
He did have 1 World Series title.
8-time All-Star.
1995, I believe.
5.
Number 4 starter, Randy Johnson, 5 Cy Youngs, over 300 wins. He also has a World Series title. And my number 5 starter, this was actually ended up being the hardest one for me to pick. I went with Tom Seaver, 3 Cy Youngs, Rookie of the Year, 3 ERA titles, and he also won a World Series. So those are my starters. You want to do your starters first, and then we'll come to closers. We'll do it that way.
So I picked Bob Gibson, 2 Cy Young Awards, 1 MVP, 9 Gold Gloves, 2 World Series titles.
Bob Gibson, who the Tigers beat in 1968 World Series.
Yeah.
Boom.
Pedro Martinez. He had 3 Cy Youngs, 1 World Series title, 1 Triple Crown, 5 ERA titles, and 8-time All-Star. My third one is Walter Johnson. 2 MVPs, 1 World Series title, 3 Triple Crowns, and 5 ERA titles. People might be surprised, but I picked Clayton Kershaw. He had 3 Cy Young Awards, 1 MVP, 1 Gold Glove, 1 Triple Crown, 5 ERA titles, 8-time All-Star.
And actually, he's not done yet either, but you put his career next to Sandy Koufax's career, who also had a short 10-year career. And their stats are pretty, they match up pretty well. But anyway, you got one more.
And people might be surprised, but I picked Christy Mathewson, who has 1 World Series title, 2 Triple Crowns, and 5 ERA titles.
All right, so there's our starting rotations. Let us know which one you think is the better starting rotation. But first, let's look at the closers here too. I cheated with one of my closers, who I'm going to call my setup man. He wasn't on the list. I picked somebody that wasn't on any list. Yes, John Smoltz. And this he goes along with my theory that any starting pitcher, like any one of these starting pitchers, could go and be a dominant closer.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Why are you cheating?
Well, I like John Smoltz better than all those other closers.
Well,
he was only he's only a closer for 3 years. He was a starting pitcher. He got hurt and he went to the bullpen for 3 years. And in those 3 years, he was a dominant closer. And he did win one Rolaids Relief Award.
Why do they call it Rolaids?
I don't know, but they changed the name. It's now the Rivera Relief Award after Mariano Rivera. Anyway, one Cy Young for him as a starting pitcher, but yeah, John Smoltz. And then as my closer, I have Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah.
601 saves, 7-time All-Star, and that rounds out my pitching staff.
So
Your two.
I had for my first pitcher or closer, I knew that he was one of the best pitchers or closers of all time, and I picked Mariano Rivera. 5 Rolaids Relief Awards, 5 World Series titles.
And then your other closer, your setup man, I suppose, or
It's 2 Yankees players that are closers. I had Aroldis Chapman. And he won 1 World Series title, 1 Rivera Relief Award, 6-time All-Star.
yeah.
I traded you to get Aroldis Chapman for Trevor Hoffman.
Well, I was trying to decide who I wanted. I took Smoltz first. I was trying to decide who I wanted, and he had already had Rivera and Hoffman, and I couldn't decide. And then when I was
And
looking
when
at
I
it,
realized that I had
yeah.
Chapman and he was one of the hardest throwing pitchers and his ERA is so good, I wanted Chapman.
So then I took Hoffman. It was easy.
Hoffman has a losing record in his career.
Yes, but he's a closer.
So
Most of these guys, their wins or
he
losses.
was 61 and 75. That's 14 more losses than wins.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy.
We'll have to talk about that later. But anyway, let us know what you think. Who's got the better pitching staff? And we'll see you with part 2, infielders and catchers.
Bye-bye.
Subscribe, click, and do one of those things.
Why do you do that every video?
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
Not that.
Oh, okay. Maybe in the next one I won't.